Hi, I'm Nancy with Red Leaf Digi-Scrapping. Thanks for joining me. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to wrap digital ribbon around any type of digital element. The tutorial is being done in Photoshop Element 6, but the same steps will apply in any version of Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. So first of all, you need to open the ribbon that you want to use, and I have this red ribbon open from my If Today Were Spring kit. And then you'll also need to open up the element that you want to wrap it around. And this letter L is from the Dress Me Up Alphabet chipboard collection. Now once you have them both open, the first thing I'm going to do, because there's really no working room around the L, I'm just going to make that a little bit larger. So I'm going to go to Image, Resize, and then Canvas Size. So the letter L will stay the same size, but the working area around it will grow. And I'll make this 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Click on OK. And now you can see that gives me a little bit more room around the L to work in. The next step is to drag the ribbon over onto the L. So I'm going to make sure that the ribbon file is active. Click on it with the left mouse button and then just hold the button down and drag over onto the L. And now you can see that the ribbon is showing up inside the window that has the L. So I'm going to go back to the ribbon and just minimize that to get it out of the way because we don't need that anymore. Now you can see that the ribbon is actually extending outside of the window that the L is sitting in. So the first thing I'm going to do is trim that down. So I'm going to select the rectangular marquee tool from the toolbox. And then I'm just going to click and drag and select the entire window and then go Image and Crop. And now you can see if I deselect the entire window and just select the ribbon, it's been cropped just to fit within the window. So it's a little bit more manageable to work with now. So the next thing that I want to do is position the ribbon on the letter where I want it to appear. So I'm going to actually rotate it a little bit. Just like that, and I'll click the green check mark to accept that change. And now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And then the next step is to crop away the bits of the ribbon that would actually be wrapping behind the letter. So to do that, I'm going to come down to the Layers palette, and I'm going to hold down the Control key on my keyboard and click on the icon on the L layer. And now you can see in your working window here that the L has those little dotted lines around it, the marching ants we call them. Next I'm going to go to the layer that holds the ribbon and make sure that layer is selected. And I'm going to come up to Select in the menu and click on Inverse. So now rather than the L itself being selected, if I scroll out here, you can see that everything outside of the L has been selected. Now making sure again that that ribbon layer is highlighted in the Layers palette, I'm going to hit the Delete key, and now it's starting to look as though the ribbon is actually wrapped around the letter L. There's one more step just to make it look really realistic. So first of all, I'm just going to deselect the L. Now again, making sure that the ribbon layer is selected in the Layers palette. I'll zoom in a little bit more here. Now what we're going to do is burn the edges, because when you wrap the ribbon around something, as the ribbon moves away from you, visually it gets a little bit darker. So that's what we're going to do, is just add that little bit of darkening on the edges, and that'll make it look as though the ribbon is actually wrapping around to the back of the chipboard letter. So to do that, come over to the toolbar, and down in the lower right corner, I'm going to select the Burn tool. Now if it's not showing up, just click on the icon that is showing up in the lower right corner and hold the mouse button down, and you'll see the little flyout menu appear, and then just select Burn tool from that. Now this works much the same as the Brush tool, where you can use your bracket arrows to make the brush larger or smaller. So I'm going to make the brush a little bit larger. And now I'm just going to carefully brush right along the edge there, where the bevel of the chipboard shows up. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And I'm just going to quickly select my eraser brush here and just erase that little bit of ribbon that was showing up on the edge there. We don't need that. And I'll do the same here, just erase that little bit of the loop. And now if I scroll back out, you can see that that little bit of subtle shading really gives the ribbon a realistic look, as though it's wrapped right around the chipboard letter. And from there you can continue to wrap the ribbon. You can bring in another layer of ribbon and flip it another way and wrap it around the letter and continue to embellish your letter. And that's how easy it is to wrap ribbon around your elements. For additional digital scrapbooking tutorials, or for information on where you can purchase my products, please visit my website at www.redleafdigiscrapping.com. Thanks for joining me.